Hey everybody, welcome to another Good e-Reader review video. My name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Today we're proud to give you an exclusive look at the Kobo Aura. Now this is not the Kobo Aura HD, this is the Kobo Aura 6-inch version, and it has a lot of things going for it that have not been seen before in e-readers anywhere. First of all, let me give you a little bit of specs. First of all, it's 6 inches. The resolution is the exact same as the Kobo Glow. You got about 1014 by 758. You have a 1 gigahertz processor. You have 4 gigs of internal storage, but you can jack it up with the SD card. Battery life around 2 months. Now, Peter, give us a sense of what the hardware looks like.
When you're looking at it head-on, pretty much looks like any other e-reader except with the Kobo logo moved from the middle to the left. But you'll notice if we hold this up and tilt it and catch the light, you'll see that the bezel and the screen is completely flush. And this is because they're incorporating new screen technology to cut down on the overall thickness and to just give it an overall better appeal. If we compare that with, say, the Kobo Glow, and we hold it on its side, you'll see that there's this big ledge here. And that's because the screen is sunken in due to the older, outdated technology. Even if we bring in the Kindle Paperwhite, you'll see the exact same thing. There's this big sunken screen, around the bezel. So they've eliminated this.
Yeah, and if you bring in this up to the camera, you see it's completely flush. There's not any type of groove from when the screen hits the bezel. They're basically one and the same at this point. Now you might say, well, why is this important? Why does it matter? Well, it's the new generation of e-ink screen. They're using low flash waveforms, and this is really evident in some other things that we're going to show you over the course of the review.
You have nothing on the left and the right, keeping it nice and clean. On the top you have the glow button as well as the power button. On the bottom you have the micro USB with micro SD and hard reset slot. And on the back you have the signature, or at least in the last generation, signature ridges on the back. A little bit harder to see on this one than it is on the Kobo.
Not hard to see here. These grooves are very pronounced.
And the reason they got rid of that is to cut down on thickness. So they've actually made it a whole lot thinner that way.
Yeah, it's thinner and it's easier to hold, and at this point it's just about aesthetics where they kind of maintain that same curvature, so it's different from most of the rear facing panels that you may see on previous e-readers. One thing to note is that unlike prior models of Kobo that had different sort of colored backings that you can put on it, this does not have it. And these only come in 2 colors, black and pink. We were told that Kobo did a little bit of market research and just looked at what were the colors that sold the most, and it was basically black and pink. So we have the home screen here. You can see here that you have books finished, books on the go, sync, new books that I've added, and you see here Pocket. Well, what exactly is this? Well, Kobo made a relationship with Pocket, formerly Read It Later. What this does is if you can set up a Pocket account either on your e-reader, on your phone, or on your tablet, you can actually sync up your Pocket account to Facebook, Twitter, to Flipboard, to Pulse, to a lot of other things, including emails. And what you can do is have articles sent from your Pocket account to your e-reader. And this is fairly useful because, if people are emailing you links or if people are emailing you articles, you can have them just sent right to your Pocket account and read them in a reflowable ebook form on your e-reader. And you have full control over all of the dictionaries and highlights and annotations and things like that, as well as internal linking structures and things like that. So if you were to click on a link, it would open up the web browser and you can go right to your online. So this is very cool. What are some other things that they have done? Well, this has a glow light, and this is a front lit display screen that previous models, starting with the Glow, started to maintain, followed suit in the Aura, and now it's here on, the Kobo Aura. Now, if we open up a book, you can see that the glow light is completely off. Now, what you can do in order to turn it on is, instead of having to flip the switch at the top, or like previous versions of the Kobo where you would have to hit the settings menu and then go to brightness and then change the levels there, they have some new technology. You put 2 fingers down and you can turn the volume and you can turn the screen light up. So you can think of your 2-finger sliding as a virtual slider.
And you'll see here that we have now turned it from 1 to 91. And much like the Paperwhite, with this slider bar or the 2-finger interaction, it'll never turn off. It'll only go down to 1 unless you actually press the button on top to eliminate the glow entirely. So it will remain on until you, hardware-wise, turn it off.
Okay, so that's a very cool feature, and this is not found in any other e-reader in the world. Now, you see we're in a book here, and you notice some new options here. If you're a Kobo user, you will notice that there are some UI changes. Well, what is this? Well, this is a new kind of beyond the book, and they announced this at the New York event. It's only on this e-reader right now, but the software should get pushed out to other e-readers fairly shortly. You can see here Bilbo Baggins, JR Token. So click here on a good old Bilbo. Gives you some information on the character, as well as some related books. As more people start contributing content and reading books, you'll see more things. Get some information about the author. You can see specific terms. So you can see there's 2 pages here. So if you want to be, if you're like, WTF, what's an orc? Well, you can get some information on what orcs are here. So Beyond the Book is new. I think it's fairly cool and very useful. You also have some of your reading life statistics here. Gives you some indicators if you like to challenge yourself. Most of the fonts have not changed from prior models, but
We've seen this time and time again with all the rest of the Kobo devices, but you have font changes. You also have font size, and they're still using the slider bar, which gives you a lot more customization. Line spacing. Margins.
and you notice here that everything's updated live.
Right. Justification left and middle or off. And of course we have the very much loved advanced menu, which gives you a before and after look at what it's going to be, but not just with line spacing and margins, but sharpness and weight as well. And you see how I'm doing things before it actually loads? Well, just to show you that you can do multiple functions on this device, and it will catch up because it does. It is registering what you're doing. It's not forgetting about you, so that's always good to note. So we have that, and we'll go back to the book, and we'll show you a couple more functionality just to the core reading experience. You have long presses to bring up dictionary definitions. Then you have your two anchors to select your highlight range, and from there you can make a highlight. Or we'll do one more long press and we'll make a note, and we'll show you guys the keyboard at the same time here. So you see you have a dedicated row of numbers. Keyboard's very nice. It's very quick. Once again, it will catch up with you if you are going too fast. It shouldn't really phase it because this is running a 1 gigahertz processor and it's very quick. Page turns are also very quick, and refreshing has been reduced to per chapter. You'll see the screen goes ever so slightly dim when you turn pages. Very unnoticeable unless you really focus on the whites here. It goes a touch gray, but that's way better than that heavy black flash we usually see on every other e-reader.
Yeah, in most e-readers they do it either every page or every 6 pages. It's really impossible to go beyond that, but Kobo has made it so you get a full screen refresh every full chapter. So whether a chapter has 5 pages or 50 pages, that's the way it'll go. And what this is supposed to do is cut down on ghosting, both in ebooks, but also when we show you PDFs, you should notice less ghosting when you're pinching and zooming. You also have a translating service here.
You'll notice that the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite had the whole translation kind of thing, but now they have it on here as well. So you can start typing things, and it will give you some suggestions, and you can translate from different languages to and from English and Portuguese and German and all those good languages. So that's a neat feature as well to note.
There's also other dictionaries and translation dictionaries you can install, but this only came preloaded with 6.
Right.
But there are more available. You see here a number of other settings. This is where we showed you how many pages you want to refresh. You can also disable tracking the reading activity, and also eliminate page numbers on EPUBs if you want to.
Kobo's always given you the freedom to do whatever you want with your books, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Amazon and Barnes & Noble, they kind of have it the way that it is with publishers' defaults and all that, but with Kobo, they're leaving nothing to themselves. You can do whatever you want with this book to make it the most comfortable reading experience you can.
Yep, it's true. So one of the things that this e-reader does really well is the library. And you could do collections, you could organize all of your own content. With Pocket content, it sort of takes it to like a new direction. So you can see a number of the books that we have on it right now. But you can filter it here. You can also change things, so you could filter out previews, collections, articles from Pocket, Kobo collections, and all that. Caliber is a very useful tool, and you can actually organize your Caliber collections based on your SD card by filtering books that you downloaded yourself right to your e-reader. One of the things I want to show you is the revised Storefront. Now, this looks very different compared to, say, the Storefront that appeared on the Kobo Glow.
Worlds of different. You see that this is more of just a preview on the Kobo Glow here on the left, and if we go browse and then you go categories, it's very text heavy. So once it finds its connection here,
you notice on this model that they eliminated this bug. This bug annoyed the heck out of me on previous models of the Kobo. Despite the fact that you were registered on a Wi-Fi connection, for some reason it would always disconnect you. And we had so much trouble actually accessing the bookstore on like the Kobo Glow and previous devices here. We just clicked on it, automatically loaded. So we kind of wanted to show you the differences between, you know, this e-reader and that e-reader in that store respects. So Store, definitely a very pleasant upgrade. Well, let's look at some content. PDFs are something that most people are going to encounter because it's still almost one of the longest lived ebook formats out there. So we're going to look at the Dungeons Master Guide, or the Monsters Manual rather, and this is about, what, like 120 meg file. It's fairly large. Let's see how this handles it.
you can see the quick nav got you right to the page almost instantaneously. So we have some high-res pictures here. So we're going to pinch and zoom. And you see what I did there? I transferred my pinch and zoom to one finger, which a lot of other e-readers don't let you do. And you see I can also catch the zoom, the navigation. And I can continue pinching and zooming anytime I want to bring in my other finger. So this has really gone a long way from what we're used to with pinching and zooming on e-readers, not tablets, e-readers. So we'll get a nice close picture of this so you can see the resolution. Very high resolution.
And you notice here that there's a page turn button. you can actually churn the page and maintain that level of zoom.
Right.
A lot of e-readers don't let you do that. If you sort of optimized your zooming experience for one page and then you churn to the next page, often you'll lose all of your configured settings. This
Right.
maintains your settings, so kind of once you find that sweet spot, because all PDFs are different, their layouts are different, so you might have found, say, a PDF version of a newspaper, got it looking the way that you want, and then you just want to churn pages.
Right.
Speaking of pages, you notice that there's no page turn buttons here. Everything's just software driven.
Exactly. Double tap will get you into a quick zoom. Take note of all this text as I drag it around. It is still readable, which is a huge improvement over that unrendered mess that you encounter when you're trying to navigate a page on an e-reader when pinching and zooming. You can read all of that as I'm moving it around. The picture may take a little bit to render because it's more of a complex display, but once it does, remarkable. Very good with the navigation on PDFs.
I once dated a girl that looked like that when she got angry. Figuratively speaking, not literally.
We also have add to collection, reading settings, of course. You can translate certain words you find in here, so a lot of the book functionality does reflect onto the PDF functionality as well.
So all PDFs are like that, and you noticed when he was scrolling around, you saw like a virtual page positioning there. It helps orientate you on exactly where you are in the given document, and it's useful. I think it's small things like this that really position Kobo well. It's not often on a 6-inch e-reader that you actually have the solid PDF experience that you see on a Kobo. I think Sony has been the only company.
The Sony T2, yeah, was until this point the best at maneuvering and handling PDFs, but honestly with everything that this one brings to the table, this is honestly just taking the cake in terms of PDF experience. Look at that. It's flawless. It's almost like a, well, I wouldn't say almost like a tablet, but it's pretty close for an e-ink screen. That's remarkable.
This e-reader has a lot of things going for it. I like how it has the multiple multi-touch, so you could change the lighting just with your fingers instead of having to dive within menus. I think that that's a total boon. And you notice it looks a little bit of bluish here. Rest assured, it doesn't look like that to the naked eye. It's just merely because of the screen and the film and white balancing and all this geeky film stuff. But in the end, I like the elimination of the sunken screen. I think that that's huge, and we'll probably start to see that more in e-readers now that e-ink has basically allowed other vendors to be able to have that. You know, you have the integration with Pocket, so you get that sort of read it later experiences. Kobo supports a myriad of languages. They're very aggressive in their international ambitions and pursuits. So basically, no matter where you live in the world, you can do business with Kobo, and you can read graphic novels, manga. In their store, not only can you buy graphic novels and manga, but also comic books, newspapers, and soon magazines. And you'll notice the magazine experience in our review of the Kobo Aura 10 HD. Final thoughts.
I love it. I love the design. It's a very good looking e-reader. Getting rid of that sunken screen really does make it feel different, make it look different. It's unlike any other e-reader. It handles PDFs like a boss. It doesn't have any sort of lag. It gets the job done. You can maneuver with one finger. You can pinch and zoom. You can release your thumb on the pinch and zoom and still control that navigation. It controls it like no other e-reader. It has so much customization. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It has before and after what your text is going to look like. It has weight. It has sharpness. It has line spacing, margins. It has reading life. It integrates Pocket now. I mean, there's just, it is the all-in-one at this point, August 29th, 2013. It is the all-in-one. It really is. It brings everything you want in an e-reader to the table.
Yeah, this e-reader is really a culmination of everything that Kobo's done up until this point. They've released, what, like 4 or 5 different e-readers before?
Yeah.
Between their first generation and this. And this is almost like the pinnacle and the very essence of constant hardware refinement. You know, they've really only done 6-inch e-readers, with the Kobo Aura HD being the only departure with 6.8 inches, but they've really sort of mastered, I think, the 6-inch e-reader space. And I like the fact that Kobo's doing things that no one else is doing. most people are trying to emulate, if you're in the tablet space, you're trying to emulate Apple, and if you're in the e-reader space, you're trying to emulate Amazon. It's just the way that they are. They're the market leader, so everyone tries to do that. Kobo seems to have blazed their own trail in terms of software development, and I think that that's really where a lot of their focus are these days, in software. They're, you could see with scrolling around websites now, it's almost that same sort of rendering engine that you have with PDFs. And so it makes it easier to be able to navigate websites that are graphic heavy, picture heavy and things like that. And this doesn't look too bad. So we'll let you guys decide for yourselves on what you like about this. Please comment on a YouTube video. youtube.com/GoodyReader is our channel name for all the latest news, previews, interviews, and everything else. You can check out our website at goodyreader.com. And for Goody Reader and a review of the new Kobo Aura, my name is Michael.
This is Peter.
Everybody take care.